Hi, this is Jed with ForexStrategySecrets.com. The question was asked in the trading room yesterday and this morning, when is it too late to enter a trade when you've got good signals? Well, I wanted to use this exact trade to demonstrate that. This trade I actually placed while I was doing a recording yesterday regarding reversals versus retracements in the market. And I took this off of the 30-minute, but I had seen and had been watching the week chart. And so you can see the week chart here gave me a great signal that I knew was fresh in the fact that I've been watching the pattern. But there were other things involved here. To help me determine that this was an early entry or the perfect entry, I saw that there was some CDC here. It had answered it, and now it had rested, and now I was looking for a specific setup that had took place, and I took it on the 30-minute chart. So we're going to go to the 30-minute, and you can see here that I was getting fresh signals there. Was that early? Well, you can see that it did go against me a little bit, but in the 30-minute it was early, but it was still sound in the fact that I was trading in the direction of the 1 week chart trend, trading in the direction of the week chart, and that trend is still fresh, it's still new and vibrant, it's ready to go. Okay, so when you're doing trading in different time frames, you have to remember what is the major trend. That helps you to determine whether you're in early or not. Now, could I have timed my entry better on the 30-minute and had missed all of this sideways movement? You bet. I could have waited for, and you can see here, here's a perfect example of what happens when you get in a little early. Okay? This would have been the prime entrance right here. And we'll go right through that. You can see all the signals that lined up. And we had several add-on signals here. Did not take some add-ons because I wasn't watching when it moved, and so now I'm looking for larger time frames to set up and or lower time frames than the 30-minute to start giving me some potential add-on signals and see what we can do there. But that's a totally different video. Let's talk about getting in too late. And speaking of add-ons, you can get into an add-on signal late as well. So I'm going to use this example since it's right here on the screen. Here I've drawn some crosshairs to show you where the perfect add-on entry would have been. Even though this was an order bar the entire time, anytime past that, you're running the risk of being in a position where you're going to have a little bit of whipsawing happen to you. You can see that, hindsight, that this wouldn't have been the case, but my opinion is I'd rather have my stop closer, or my entry closer to my stop position, which would be up in this area, than have my entry down here and my stop up here, because then I'd put more at risk. Okay, it's all about timing. I'd rather get in a little bit early. For example, over on this particular position, have a little bit of whipsawing on this sideways movement, then get in here and have it whipsaw back against me because of the volatility of whatever took place here, possibly changing. So that's how you look at it from one time period. But in the larger picture, would any of these positions have been considered late on, for example, let's say the week chart? Let's go up to the week chart and look at this. As far as I'm concerned, you can see right there where that bar would have been. That is not a big deal. On a week chart, it's still what I would consider an early entry. So if you're trading long term, it may not be as difficult of a task to manage whether you're in early or in late as it will be in the lower time frames. However, always look at the support and resistance levels when you're trading in larger time frames. My entry on this particular trade, I feel, is at its best point. And the reason being is because of where these support and resistance levels are over here and here. So keep those in mind when you're playing the market and trying to time your entries, because remember, you can get into entries late, but there's always an option, if you look at the larger time frames, to reevaluate where you're at. However, don't use the larger time frames as an excuse to try to stay in a trade or try to get in too early. Remember, you have to time your entry on all time frames properly. Don't use it as an excuse or a crutch. This is Jed with Forex Strategy Secrets, signing off.